That was the best one. That last minute little holy shit. That was it. That was it. Boom. Live in action. What's up, everyone? First and foremost, thanks for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Ashton and I'm a filmmaker photographer in Austin, Texas. I personally love to shoot content for shorts, brands, small businesses, and real estate. As we all know, the pandemic has caused us to be isolated from our friends, other people in general. So I figured, why not give my 2 cents on how to shoot self-portraits using 3 simple steps. The only gear that you're gonna need for this is just a camera with self-timer capabilities and a tripod. What I'll be using for this video is my Canon 5D Mark III with a Sigma 24mm f1.4 lens and a tripod from Vanguard. Shout out to Stephanie for giving that to me. No, you don't need any fancy gear for this. You can do this with just your iPhone or even an Android. Now that we have the necessary gear out of the way, let's dive right in. So the first step to shooting self-portraits is to set up your frame. Of course, you'll want to decide on your location and your composition first. I like to set up the frame just how I want it before I even take the first photo. That way I can guarantee the results that I'm looking for. You'll most likely end up switching up the frame as you go. You're not always gonna set up the frame perfectly the first time. So just make sure that you trust the process. After you've got your frame set up just how you'd like, the next step is to find a reference point. As you should know, shooting portraits is all about nailing focus. Ideally, we want the eyes to be the main focal point. So what I like to do is to ask myself while I'm looking at the frame, where do I see myself fit in this frame? Where might my eyes be positioned if I were actually standing inside of the frame? The reason for this is so that you can estimate the distance between the camera lens and your eyes. This is how you will nail your focus. In this example, I chose to use the middle crossbar of the rail to use as my reference point because it's easily distinguishable from the rest of the railing and it's just easier for me to see it. Another thing to keep in mind is if you're shooting with a DSLR, using a super shallow depth of field might make your job harder than it needs to be because your chances of nailing focus is on a smaller scale. The higher the f-stop, the more things are in focus. So personally, I find an f-stop range of about f2.8 to f4.0 to be efficient for me because it helps me minimize the errors, or at least helps me just make sure that I'm in focus. It's enough to have a little bit of flexibility with your depth of field while also giving the background just a little bit of a blur. All right, so now that we've done the first 2 steps, the next step is pretty simple. Set your self-timer, shoot it, and keep repeating. Just keep on repeating until you get the shot. I've seen other cameras give the option anywhere from 2 seconds to 10 seconds as a self-timer, but unfortunately my camera only offers 2 options, which is 2 seconds and 10 seconds. It would be a bit stressful to press the shutter and try to rush into the frame without looking crazy. So we're gonna go with the 10-second option. And some cameras and some phones offer different options, but this is all just personal preference. How fast can you press the shutter and get into the frame and feel comfortable? Because another key thing when shooting portraits is you don't want to look rushed. You want to look relaxed and you want to look your best. So don't rush the process. Just don't do it. And like I said earlier, you're hardly ever gonna get the shot that you were looking for on the first try. So make sure you just repeat the process until you get that banger, Also, as you're deciding on a pose, make sure that you're keeping in mind where your light source is coming from. In this case, my only light source was the sun, and I knew the sun was coming from the left. So I made sure to look in that direction so that I could properly expose my face for the shot. But again, your pose is all personal preference, so it doesn't really matter, but just keep that in mind, you know? Cool. All right, guys, there is the 3-step process for you. Now you have no excuses to go out there and up-level your personal brand and show your damn face. For the longest time, I had this belief that I needed other people to take pictures of me in order for it to be post-worthy for socials. All of these are self-portraits that I've shot recently to use for both my personal brand and for YouTube thumbnails. And each photo only took about 15 minutes of my time. I think it's important to not spend too much time doing this. So really anything over 20 minutes is kind of pushing it, unless you just have this huge idea in mind and you're just trying to be creative. Then do your thing, do your thing. And there might be some of you watching this thinking to yourself like, dude, We already know this. This is noob stuff. Where's the information at? But hey, there might be at least one person, one of you watching this right now that's finding some value from it. And that's what I'm here for. Let me know down in the comments below if you enjoyed this type of content. I'm hoping to put out some more tips, tricks, tutorials, that kind of thing in the near future. So any feedback is greatly appreciated. If you like this video, you know what to do. And as always, thank y'all for watching this video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.